Who is going to reach the NBA Finals? The conference round is tipping off on Monday night, and we're going to have some really exciting playoff basketball coming up. I'm going to deliver to you my predictions for these series in the West and the East. Let's start off by talking about the Western Conference Finals. We have a huge advantage for the Spurs in how they performed against the Thunder during the regular season. They were 4-1 during the regular season against the Thunder, including a game in the NBA Cup in the semifinal of the NBA Cup. They were able to win consistently throughout the 2026 season. On top of this, the success that they saw was when Wemby was still on a minutes restriction due to a back injury. He was only playing 25 minutes per game. And when he was on the court, they had a plus 50 advantage against the Thunder. And while all those things sound enticing, they sound like they're evidence to buy into because of the success that they had against OKC during the regular season, I am going with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think at plus 375 odds, taking the Thunder to win in 7 games is the right move here. While the regular season success is meaningful, and I'm using this as context as to why I think that this is going to be a close and long series, we have to focus on the fact that the Spurs team is still really young, and they have shown instances in which their youth has caught up to them. I mean, heck, the simple example of Wemby getting ejected because of the physicality that he was enduring is an example of a 21-year-old player reacting in a way that got him kicked out of a game. The Thunder have the experience and they have the adversity of last year's playoff run in winning the NBA Finals. They have already been through this. They are what the Spurs are trying to become. They are multiple steps ahead of San Antonio in this process. They got there a lot quicker than expected. The Spurs shocked everybody with how quickly they were able to dominate with a 21-year-old Wemby, a 20-year-old Dylan Harper, and a 21-year-old Stephon Castle. But the Thunder, again, have already accomplished this to the point where they've smoked everybody in front of them. 2 straight sweeps. An average margin of victory of 16.6. I think it would be silly to overlook experience, to overlook success, and having already been through this process of learning how to win. One thing that I think is very important that I am always compelled listening to NBA experts talk about, it's more applicable in the NBA than it is in any sport. Because especially the NFL, in football, it's a one-game situation. Anything can happen in a game that can flip it in either direction. But in basketball, when you have these extended series, you need to learn how to win before you can get over the top. You need to fall flat on your face before you can win a championship. You need to fall short against the more experienced, better team before you can get to the promised land. The Spurs are just at the very beginning of their journey. The Thunder, again, they have been already through this entire process. So I am sticking with that context, having that and knowing that. Despite the Spurs bouncing back multiple times throughout the playoffs of dealing with their own issues of Wemby getting knocked out, him getting kicked out, and them still locking in and finishing off a scrappy Thunder team or a scrappy Timberwolves team the way that they did. The Thunder are going to win this game in 7 games, plus 375 odds is what I'm taking. For the Eastern Conference Finals, and I will raise my hand and acknowledge that I'm rooting for the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan. This is as bias removed as possible. And if I end up being wrong, you can go ahead and you can toast my ass in the comments. Feel free to do it right now as you're watching this video and come back and toast me if the Knicks end up losing this series. All you. Completely do whatever you want in the comments. I am taking the Knicks at plus 450 to win this series in 6. I am not disrespecting the Cavs because the Cavs showed us that with their backs up against the wall, they were going to be able to find a way to win. 2 straight series in which they won Game 7s. That is a serious accomplishment, but it is also a major detraction. It is a major negative. Their guys have been through a gauntlet over the past two series. The separation between these two teams in terms of minutes played by their starters: 309 minutes during the playoffs for the Knicks, 460 for the Cavs. They're coming off of a short turnaround of having played on Sunday night to then prepare to play on Tuesday. And while, sometimes you might bring up, and this is applicable in any sport, the momentum of just being able to continue playing sometimes works in your favor. Sometimes just moving on to the next thing, moving on to the next game, and just getting right out there on the court and playing, sometimes that works for you. But fresh legs are meaningful. They mean something, to the point where teams that have needed consecutive Game 7s in the first two rounds of the playoffs, do you know what their record is? 1-4. I'll repeat that for you. Teams that have needed 7 games in both rounds of the first two rounds of the NBA playoffs in conference finals, their record is 1-4. And it's obvious why. For everything that I just said, your team is gassed because they accomplished 2 ridiculous feats of surviving long series, and then you get to the next series and you're dead. You're out of energy. I think that that's going to show up here, not to mention the fact there's nothing fake about what the Knicks have done. The minute that they went down against the Hawks, they flipped the switch. They locked in. They have eviscerated every opponent in front of them since that moment of when they went down against the Hawks. The absolute beatdown that they put against that Philly team, that some people were talking up to maybe be scrappy and unexpected, wasn't even close the entire series. They, so far, this postseason, have an offensive rating of 124.8 and a defensive rating of 104.8. That is both the second best in the postseason in both those categories. This Knicks team is on another level, but not to mention the fact that there is a historical context that supports that the Knicks have the edge and that they will get to the finals. Comment below. Let me know in the comments. Who are you picking to reach the finals? How many games for both series? I want to know down below. We'll catch you later.